Alright, so for this video, we'll be working on October-November 2012, paper 3. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Create a new word process document. Save this with the file name N2 evidence. So I'm going to create a new Microsoft Word document. I'm going to save it as N2 evidence. N2 evidence. And then place your name, center number, and candidate number in the header of this document, right? So I'm going to double click here, name, center number, candidate number. I'm going to save it. So create new folders called M32, NS32, and NP32, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip from question 2 to question 6, okay? This is fairly simple. I'm sure you guys know how to do this, all right? So we're going to move all the way down here. I'm going to look at question number 7. Okay, using a suitable software package, load the file n2property.csv. Basically, we'll be working on an Excel file. Okay, so n2 property. So the first thing you do when you open an Excel file, again, is to save it as Excel worksheet. If you look here, you will notice that the file is actually a CSV file. All right, so I'm going to save as. And I'm going to change the comma separated value or comma delimited here from CSV to Excel workbook. Okay, reason why is because CSV file is a type of text file and it only saves data separated by commas. Now, if you put in any functions, any formulas, any formatting, any conditionals and all that, it won't be saved if it's a CSV file. So that's the reason why we need to change it to Excel workbook first. Right, I'm going to save it. Okay, then we're going to move on to the next question. Okay, so place your name, candidate number, and center number on the left in the footer. On the left in the header. Right, so I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to select header and footer. So name, center number, candidate number on the left in the header. So name, center number, candidate number. Right, so place the full file path and file name in the center of the footer. So I'm going to scroll down here, right? Under design, I'm going to put the file path and file name, right? So file path and file name, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So in cell D2, use a lookup function to show the name of the area in which the property is located. Use the area code column for the lookup value and the file n2locations.csv for the array. Right, so look at the question here. What it wants is, based on the area code here and referring to the file called n2locations here, okay, it wants you to retrieve the names of the location based on the area code here. So what you need to do is you need to match the area code here with the area code from this file to get the location. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to use a function called VLOOKUP. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to resize this. Okay, I'm going to type the function here. So equals to, that's how you start a function, VLOOKUP. And then it's going to ask you for the lookup value. Now, what does lookup value mean? It means what value do I need, okay, to find out the corresponding value. So right now, you need to know what 473 actually means, right? So I'm going to select 473 and click comma. And then it asks for the table array. So table array means from which table are you getting the additional information from? So I'm going to switch over to this. I'm going to highlight all the data here, right? I'm going to put in a comma again. Then it's going to ask for your column index number. Now, this means, column index number means from which column are you getting the additional information from. Now, if you look here, you already have the information from the first column, right? And you need the information from the second column. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put in number 2, the second column. Put in another comma. It asks you whether you want an approximate or an exact match. I'm going to select exact match. Okay, once you're done, you're going to close the bracket and going to press enter. Okay, so I'm going to apply this by double-clicking on the field handler, right, and apply the information under the location column. Okay, so this function must include both absolute and relative cell referencing and must not use a name range. Okay, we've done that already. So absolute is the one with dollar. Okay, I'm gonna explain about work. Absolute means the ones with dollars, right? And then relative means the one without dollars. Okay, so basically absolute cells do not move, relative cell move. Okay, so if I double click here, you'll notice that the relative cell is here. Go to the bottom here, and then you will notice that it actually moves in relation or relative to the position of the function here. Okay, whereas the absolute one actually doesn't move. Okay, it will always select the entire table and it shouldn't move. Okay, moving on to the next question. In cell I2, use a formula to calculate the price per square feet of the property. So I2. Okay, so if the price is this and the square feet is this, basically how you calculate the price per square feet is to take the price divided by the square feet, right? So equals to this divided by this. Press enter, so 6250. Now format all numeric values, my bad, calculate the price per square feet of the property. So I'm going to apply this again to all the corresponding cells here using the field handler. Moving on, format all numeric values in column H into dollars with no decimal place, So here into dollars. So I'm going to right click, format cells, I'm going to select currency, going to change the symbol to dollar. So I'm just going to choose, I think it makes a difference though, let's choose the Singapore one. Right, with no decimal place, I'm going to change it to 0. Right, click OK. Moving on. Right, so in cell J2, use a formula to calculate the sales commission of this property. The sales commission is 10,000 plus if the property has an area of less than or equals to 500 square feet, 5% of the price. If the property has an area greater than 500 square feet and less than 4,000 square feet, 7.5 of the price. If the property has an area greater than or equal to 4,000 square feet, 10% of the price. Right. So to do this, we need to use something called an if function. Okay, but looking at the question, you actually need, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So you need two ifs. Okay, you need a nested if. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to work from the bottom up. Okay, based on the square feet here. So it's 10,000 plus that. So we're going to ignore the 10,000 first. We're going to work on the if function first. All right. So if it is greater than or equals to 4,000, you're going to get 10% of the price. Okay. So equals to if the area, the square feet here, is greater than or equals to 4,000, right? Then it is 10% of the price, right? So price multiplied by 10%. Let's check. Right, so this is done. So if it is not this, then it could be either one of these, right? So if this time it's greater than 500 square feet, then 7.5 of the price. So, comma, if the square feet is greater than 500, then it is the price multiplied by 7.5%. right? So if it is not, okay, which means that less than or equals to 500, okay, it is 5% of the price. So price multiplied by 5%. So we're going to apply this. Okay, so let's look at the function again. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to see whether the area, the square feet here is larger or equals to 4,000. If it is, you're going to take the price multiplied by 10% because that's the sales commission, right? But if it is not, it could be either greater than 500 or less than 500. So if it is greater than 500, okay, you're going to take the price multiplied by 7.5%. And if it is not greater than or equals to 4,000, it is not greater than 500, then definitely it's less than 500, right? So you need to take H2 multiplied by 5%. But the question also says 10,000 plus the percentage. So plus another 10,000. Okay? So 13. In cell K2, use a formula for this property to add the sales commission to the price to give the cost to the customer. Okay, so I'm going to save it first. So this one basically means you need to add the sales commission with the price, right? Let's see. Sales commission plus the price, right? So equals to the price add by the sales commission. Okay. So I'm going to resize the column a little bit. You have your data here. So replicate these four formulas for each of the properties. So we've done that already. So we've replicated the price per square feet. All right, we have replicated the sales commission, the cost to customer. Right, we're done. Moving on to the next one. So in cell K75, use a function to calculate the total cost of all the properties sold. So K75. So let's have a look. K75. K75 here. Oh, okay. So it basically needs the total of everything on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to remove this because it actually applied the addition here as well. So I'm going to highlight everything here from the top to bottom. Right, I'm going to go to auto sum and I'm going to click sum here. So if you scroll down, you'll notice that it actually sums everything up. Okay. Now number 16, set the page orientation to landscape. I'm going to close this page. I don't think I need it anymore. Okay, so page layout, orientation, I'm going to change it to landscape. So save and print the data model showing the formula used. Make sure that the content of all cells are fully visible and that the printout fits on 2 pages wide. Okay, so I'm going to show formula. So how I do that is I need to go to formulas and I'm going to click on show formulas. Right, this will show all the formulas here. So I'm going to select all by clicking here or Control A, and then I'm going to resize. Double click on the column separators here. Okay, don't worry if this happens because your data actually overflowed to the next page. Alright, so let's go to File, Print. Okay, and it says that it wants it across 2 pages wide, right? So I'm going to select fit all rows on 1 page. Okay, and if need be, resize it so that it goes to the next page because it needs 2 pages wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Oops, my bad. Make this a little bit bigger still. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So when I go to print, alright, you will notice that it's now across 2 pages. Okay, so we're going to go back here. I'm going to move on, continue. So number 18, Okay, so format all numeric values in column I, J, and K into dollars with no decimal place. Now this means, okay, although it doesn't explicitly say it, you need to unhide, you need to hide your formulas again. Okay, so I'm going to resize the columns back to how they look like. Okay, then it says that I, J, and K into dollars, right? So I, J, and K into dollars, so with no decimal place. So what you can do is you can actually copy the formatting that you have used. Okay, so I'm gonna click on price here. Okay, then I'm gonna select something called a format painter. I'm gonna click on it once. Now click and drag and apply the formatting to all the other information here. Okay, so you will notice that all the other cells are actually affected by the formatting here. Okay, so it's basically just a copy and paste of formats, again, styles. Okay, so format all the cells in the top row to make them center aligned, bold and italic. Top rows, center aligned, bold, italic. Then hide column B, C, H, I, and J. Okay, I'm going to save it first. B, C, oops, my bad. B, C, H, I, and J. So I'm gonna, what I did was I hold down Control and selected all 5 columns. Right click on the column header here, and I'm gonna select hide. Okay, so the next one it says is interrogate the data to find all the properties where the total price is less than 10 million. Okay, so interrogate the data, this means that you need to apply the filtering option. So I'm going to select the headers here. Okay, I'm going to go to sort and filter. I'm going to select filter. Okay, so total price is less than 10 million. So I'm going to select this. Right, number filters, I'm going to select less than, and I'm going to type 10 million. So these are the properties that are less than 10 million. Okay, so save the data model with a new file name and print this data. Okay, so I'm going to save it with a new file name and print this data. So save as new. Alright, so I'm going to print it. Print. Right, make sure all the data is visible with your name, center number, candidate number, as well as your footer here. Okay, then moving on, open the data model is saved in step 20, so I need to open the old file. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open my old file here. So interrogate the data to find all the properties in any part of 高論. Right, so I'm going to interrogate the data again. So any part of 高論. Okay, so I'm going to click location, text filter. Now instead of selecting equals, I'm going to select contains. Alright, so I'm going to type Kowloon. There you go. So it means Kowloon Bay, Kowloon Tong, okay, and Kowloon City. So shows only the data in column A, B, D, E, H, and I. So A, B, don't need C, D, E, so H and I. So J and K, we need to hide it as well. So right click, hide. Then sort the property details into descending order of price. So descending order of price, sort largest to smallest. Okay. Save the data model with a new file name and print this data showing row and column headings. Okay, so I'm going to select again. I'm going to save it again. I'm going to call it new. Okay, but this time it says row and column heading. So what does that mean? This means that it needs to show your A, B, D, E, H, I, and then the one and all the the row heading says 1, 15, 16, 17, 29, right? So when you go to print, notice that there's a page setup option here. So click on it, switch over to sheet, okay, and select row and column headings. I'm going to click OK. So you'll notice that the row and column headings are actually displayed. So once you're done, click print. We'll save it. Right, we're going to continue on with the web authoring part, okay? So you're going to create a new website about some of their properties for sale in Europe. This website must open in any browser. The homepage will have two separate tables and look like this. So using a suitable package, software package, create a new web page called n2hgp3.htm in your n32 folder. Alright, so attach a style sheet n2 style3.css to this web page. Now, when it says using a suitable software package, we're going to use Expression Web. Okay, so I'm going to Microsoft Expression Web. There you go. Oops. Right, so I'm going to save this file as n2hgp3.htm. So I'm going to save as, right, navigate back to the folder here, n2hgp3, n2hgp3.htm, just follow what it wants, right? And then attach the style sheet n2 style3.css, right? So I'm going to go to format, okay, CSS styles, and I'm going to say attach style sheet. So I'm going to go back to the same folder and click OK. And so you'll notice that there's a new line here with a link href n2 style3.css. Now this means that the CSS file has been attached to the web page already. Okay, so create the top table with 2 rows and 2 columns as shown. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to design. Here, I'm going to go to table, insert table, 2 rows and 2 columns, right? Now, looking at the next question, align this table with the center of the window. So under alignment, I'm going to select center. Okay, and then set the table width to 750 pixels. So 750 in pixels. Okay, let's see whether there's anything else or not. Right, set the cell padding and cell spacing of a table to 3 pixels. So cell padding 3, cell spacing 3. Okay, no borders or anything. So I'm going to click OK. Now, if you look at the table, right, pixels, my bad. Okay, now if you look at the table, you will notice that the top table, right, the first 2 rows, the first column here is actually merged. Okay, so what you need to do is, I'm going to highlight these 2 cells, I'm going to right click on it, go to modify, and we're going to select merge cells. Alright, so I've merged the cell, and then it says, place the image n2hgp.png in cell A. So I'm going to insert picture from file, and go back there, n2hgp. I'm going to click OK. Oh, that's big. Okay, now resize the image so that it becomes 250 pixels high and 240 pixels wide. So I'm going to right click on the image, I'm going to go to picture properties, appearance, and I'm going to specify the size, right? 250 and 240. Okay, so 250 and 240. Now you notice that when you type this, okay, if you type it in the width, the height changes. Okay, that's because the keep aspect ratio option is selected. So in order for me to influence it so that it doesn't behave this way, I'm going to uncheck this. Okay, then I'm going to type 240 and 250, 250 and then 240 for height. Oh no, 250 for height, 240 for width. So 240 and 250. Right, I'm going to press OK. This is what you'll get. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So place the image n2 banner.png in cell B. Okay, so here, so I'm going to insert picture from file n2 banner. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to save it first. So, and then in cell C, insert the text across 5 continents, and then apply style H1 to this text. So, across 5 continents, apply style H1 to this. So I'm just going to highlight the text here. I'm going to select heading 1. Right. Moving on. In cell C, below the text entered in step 37, insert the text last edited by and your name, center number, and candidate number. So after this, so last edited by, name, center number, candidate number. Right, now it says apply paragraph, right? But if you highlight this, you'll notice that it's already in a paragraph, so you don't need to do anything about it. Okay, so moving on. Create the bottom table using the content of n2 bottom3.html. Now you don't need to create a table from scratch, you need to copy it over instead. Okay, so I'm going to open n2 bottom. Where is it? Well, there you go. So I'm going to open it, edit with expression web. So I'm going to copy the entire table. Right click, copy, come back here, I'm going to paste the table here. Okay. Oh, my bad. Okay, I left out 39. Okay, so set the background color of this table to red with no other color components. Okay, so I need to change the background color of this table. So I'm going to highlight the entire table, right click, table properties. Okay, color, I'm going to say hash red. Oh. So I'm going to right click on the table, table properties, right? Then the background color here, I'm going to type red with no other components, right? So hashtag FF0000. Okay, so the first 2 digits represent red, okay, the next 2 green, the last blue. Because it says red with no other color components, I'm going to put FF followed by 00 because green and blue should not have any other color should not have any numbers to it. Now FF means the maximum here. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. You'll notice that the background color changes. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Align the bottom table with the center of the window. So I'm going to select the bottom table here. Right click, properties, with the center of the window. So the alignment, I'm going to select center. Right. Set the table width of the bottom table to 750 pixels. So specify width 750 pixels. So set the cell padding and cell spacing to 3 as well. So cell padding 3, cell spacing 3. Okay, set the background color of this table to blue with no other color components. So background color this time, hashtag red 0, green 0, blue. Alright, so let's see whether there's any other things or not. Okay, that's fine. Press OK. Right, there you go. Okay, moving on. So look at the button images that you're downloading in step 6. In cells D, E, F, G, and H, replace the names of the country with the appropriate button. Okay, so I need to replace the text here, all right, with the appropriate images here. Okay, so I'm going to select Belgium first. I'm going to insert picture from file. Okay, so in order for me to be able to see it more clearly, I'm going to change this, all right, so that I can select the appropriate flags here. Okay, now if you guys do not know what country is what, okay, you can always go online and search for, like, say for example, a Belgium flag, right? Oops. Belgium flag. Right, there you go. So this one, insert. Okay, let's see whether it needs to specify any color or not. You may need to research the information electronically. Okay, so we're going to press OK. Right, then Brazil, I'm going to do the same thing. So in cell I, replace the text star properties with the image n2 star.png. It's very simple, you just keep replacing stuff. So n2 star, so insert picture from file, n2 star. Right. In cell J, replace the text house image here with an appropriate image of a house from the image provided. House image here, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to insert an image of a house. House, there you go. Now in cell K, I'll replace the words text here with an unordered list containing. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to remove this. Oops. Right, remove the text here, right, and then we're going to put in an unordered list. So I'm going to select this, but you've noticed you notice that it's still H3, right? Okay, so in order to really clear it out, okay, let's switch over to code, okay, and remove the H3 here. Remove it. I'm going to save it and go back to design. Okay, let's put in the unordered list. So unordered list is another word for bullets, okay, in Microsoft Expression Web. Alright, so I'm going to put in a bullet point, and then I'm going to start typing built 1984, right? So built 1945. Oops. Press enter. 5 bedrooms. Renovated. Conservatory. And then garden. Right, so we're done with this. Okay, moving on. So in cell L, replace the text footer with the image n2 footer.png. So cell L, I'm going to remove this. So again, insert picture from file, footer. There you go. So create a hyperlink from the image placed in cell D to point to the file n2 page3.htm, which should open in a new window called _Belgium. Alright, so basically we need to choose the Belgium flag. Right, cell D. So first one. Right, so right click, hyperlink. Now if you can't select hyperlink, the trick here is just to save it and then right click on it again. Okay, so it's going to link it to the file n2 page3.htm and to page3.htm, which should open in a new window called _Belgium, right? So I'm going to go to target frame, new window. I'm going to change the underscore to Belgium. I'm going to click OK. Click OK. So save the web page and print a copy of the HTML source. Now, this is not the HTML source, okay? This is how your web page will look like. The HTML source is actually your code. So I'm going to switch to code, and I'm going to go to File, Print. I'm just going to show you the print preview here. Right, you'll notice that you can actually see my name, center number, and candidate number here. Now, for you guys who just started using Expression Web, and you have not put in a header and footer, it will not appear here. So in order for the name, center number, and candidate number to appear here, you have to go to File, Print, and you should have to go to page setup. Okay, in the header you need to type in your name, center number, and candidate number first. Alright, so what you need to do is, once you're done with that, go to print preview, right, and just click print. Okay, moving on. So open this page in your browser, place screenshot evidence of this page in your evidence document. You may use more than one print to make sure that the entire page is visible, save your evidence document, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you need to preview this in your browser. Well, two ways to do this. You can either use File, Preview in Browser, and select Chrome, or you can just double click on the page. So, N2 HTTP3. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to open with Chrome. Okay, so if I need to take a screen capture of this, so what I can do is I can actually resize it. I'm going to scale it down a little bit. And then to do a screenshot of this, so I'm going to print screen. I'm going to open my evidence document. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Right, so save your evidence document. Print a copy of this document. So, File, Print. All right. Okay. Right. So, question 53. Okay. So you are going to create a short presentation for your manager. So open a suitable presentation package, import the file n2press3.rtf from your np32 folder, remove any blank slides. You should provide 2 slides, each containing a title and a bullet point. Okay, so presentation package would be PowerPoint, so I'm going to type PowerPoint. So it says import, so I'm going to say new slide. I'm going to select slides from outline. Right, going back to the folder. Right, so there's 2 slides, right? Okay, so it says remove any blank slides. I'm going to remove the first slide. I think we're done with HTML, so I'm going to close it. We're done with this as well, so I'm going to close it. Okay, now, so the master slide must have a white background, your name, center number, candidate number, in a 12-point blank serif font in the top right corner, automated slide number in the top left corner. Okay, so I'm going to go to View, switch over to Slide Master, select the first slide, and because it needs your name, center number, candidate number in the top right corner, so I'm going to put in a text box here. Right, you're going to right align it. Okay, and it needs the page number to be visible, right? So I need to go to File, Print. I'm not going to print, but I'm just going to go to Edit Header and Footer, and I'm going to check slide number. I'm going to apply to all. Now you'll notice that it appears on the bottom right hand corner, but it needs the slide number to be on the top left corner. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go back. Right, in the Slide Master, I'm going to move this and place it at the top here. Okay, I'm going to left align it. So when I print, notice that the slide number appears on the top already. So let's switch to the second one, right? So format slide 1 so that the text is displayed as a title and subtitle. Center align these objects, do not change the font styles. Okay. So I'm going to the Slide Master. I'm going to close it because we're going to manipulate or start editing the normal slides, the standard slides. Okay, so it needs a title and subtitle. So I'm going to change the layout to title slide. So that's title and then subtitle, title, subtitle. Right, so center aligning, replace the text your name with your name. By. Okay, change the format of slide 2 so that the bullet points become a subtitle. This one. Right, so change the format of slide 2 so that the bullet point becomes a subtitle. Okay, so here's how it works. You need to have the style of the subtitle, right? So the only way for you to get it is from the first one, okay, because this is a subtitle, okay. So what's going to happen is I'm going to highlight the subtitle, I'm going to double click on the format painter here, go back here, and I'm going to apply this here. Alright, so let's do that. So I'm going to select this, go back here, oh, my bad. I'm going to select this, double click on the subtitle, go back here, and highlight the text. So it will change into a subtitle. I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to click outside. Okay, so I'm going to resize this a little bit. Okay, moving on. Right, our next question, use the following data to create a comparative vertical bar chart and place this on the left below the subtitle on slide 2. Okay, so slide 2 here, you need to put in vertical bar chart, which is also a column chart. So I'm going to insert chart, I'm going to select column. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to ask me to enter the information here. Okay, so it says, use the area names as category axis labels and the sales figure for the value axis, right? So category would be area names, okay, so colon, followed by mid-levels and shut-in. Okay, I don't need category 4, so I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to delete it. Okay, so followed by 2010 and 2011. So 2010, 2011. I can remove the third series, and then I need to fill in the information here. So so 1, 3, 2. Right, mid levels 9, 8, followed by 5 zeros, 9, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 1, 4, followed by 5 zeros, 1, 1, 4, 4, 5. Okay, so this would be the chart, but it needs it to be on the bottom left, so I'm going to resize it a little bit. I'm going to put it on the bottom left here. Right, so I think the title will be area. I'm going to change this to area. So area names as the category axis and the sales figure for the value axis. Okay, so it didn't say you need any axis or X or Y axis labels. It also doesn't say you need any data labels, so we can just leave it. So insert a clip art image of a house, flat or apartment on slide 2. Place this to the right of the chart. Make sure that the chart is fully visible and no element or of any slide overlap. So previously the slide was covering the entire page, so we're going to resize it, put it on the bottom left. Right, so now we're going to put in clip art. Now for 2013 and above, it's a little bit special. There's no longer a clip art icon here. It's actually inside online pictures, okay? But for those of you who are using a version that is lower than 2013, maybe 2010 or lower, okay, you can still click on the clip art icon. So I'm going to search for a house, and then for the type, I'm going to select clip art. Okay, so I'm just going to this one. Right. So I'm gonna resize it. So put it beside this. So save the presentation using a new file name. Print the presentation with one slide on each page. Okay, so I'm going to save it with a new file name first. Save as. Okay. Print the presentation with one slide on each page. So I'm just going to go to print and just print it out. Okay, so the first page will have the page number, slide number, followed by your name, center number, candidate number, second page as well. Alright? Alright, we are done with this paper.